Hi, my name is Jordan Crawford. I have been doing B2B go-to-market engineering since 2020. I have lived in the San Francisco Bay Area all my life, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through my argument of why B2B go-to-market is broken. I'm going to take you through an overview of the course that I have built here. It's a $1,000 course, pretty expensive, right? I have spent hundreds of hours on this course, and if you count all of the work I have done with hundreds of companies, many, many more hours than that. And this is the distillation of not only my framework, but how I think you should be changing your go-to-market in 2025 to be able to adapt to all of the beautiful benefits of AI without taking any of the risk. So let's go ahead and break down the argument. I'm going to talk to you about what I think you're probably doing in your go-to-market, the much better way to do this. And then also I'm going to give you an outline of the course and all the things that we're going to cover. And at the very heart of this course is really that you're missing the data that you need. The data that you need to understand your customers, the data that you need about your market, the niche data sources that will power that, the ability to weaponize your internal data if you have it. Data is what drives this all. But it's really important that we don't put data or our latest AI tools in the old framework. So let's dive in. Who to target, what to say in 2025. There's my hometown of the Golden Gate Bridge. So the San Francisco, where the Golden Gate Bridge exists. So really, this is designed for companies that have product market fit. If you don't have product market fit, just turn around now. You don't need this. A lot of lead gen agencies also have bought the course. And really, this way of thinking will help orient you to how you should eventually do your go-to-market if you are a younger company. If you have at least 50 plus customers, everything here is going to be really relevant to you because you're going to always use their pain as the anchor here. So, and really, this is not just designed who to target, but also what to say, because those two things are linked. So let's talk about the old way. So most of the way that people do go to market today is that they have account selection. So revenue, 10 to 500 million, employees, 100 to 1,000 employees in the internet and technology industry, right? ZoomInfo, Apollo, all these tools will sell you this information. So this is how you do it. You pick accounts. Then what you do is you write persona level messages. The B2B VPs of marketing need AI, and they're having a hard time adopting it, and their budgets are constrained. So talk about those things. Then you find contacts, and you might use ZoomInfo or Apollo. And if you're really savvy, you're using tools like Clay or fullenrich.com to go find as many contacts as you can. And then your 21-year-old SDR personalizes. Hey, Ben, cool. This is actually funny. I gave this presentation live, and it turns out that my co-host did wear the same jacket as me. Hey, Ben, cool that you wore the same jacket as me to Asset Big Event. Good job planning. Our B2B SaaS tool helps marketers who need AI and have a hard time adopting the constraints. Want to have 30 minutes to learn more about me. Right? You've all sent this. I've sent this. And then you scale. Use outreach sale off to spam the TAM. The problem is that all of our existing tools are selling in to this framework. Account selection, Ocean, which I love, right? They're selling into this same thing, which is like, we'll give you lookalikes to your best customers so you don't have to do this. Ocean's a great tool. They're selling into this methodology, though they can't help it. Apollo is selling into this, right? The intent providers are selling into this to try to improve. Well, we'll tell you actually if they're searching for your technology. We didn't have to get really amazing at this because Google and Facebook, and we had all this money that we could just dump at providers that told us what our targeting is. Google with keywords and Facebook with like lookalike audience. We'll actually determine who clicks, and they're selling you the click. So our tools have sold into this. And even some more advanced account selection tools, Common Room, KeyPlay, are trying to sell. We'll sell you signals. But the problem is they're selling that to everyone. And that means that you can't differentiate yourself on the same data that everyone else is buying. And that's a problem. Persona level messages, there are tools like Winter, winter.com, that is like trying to help you understand your customer better. I have built a tool, Sherlock.blueprintgtm.com. You have to contact me to get access. But this is going to take your gong calls and build AI agents to help you figure out what are actual customers saying and what are the problems they actually have. Find context. There has been some innovation, right? I mentioned Clay and Fullenrich. So to basically, there's a Data Lane is another one of these companies. Explorium, there's I think Orbital's another one. They're just trying to help you find more contacts, right? SDR personalization, a lot of innovation in this space. The AI SDR, right? It's like basically the AI SDR is selling you, we're going to do the same bad thing you're doing today, but we're going to do it for half the price. Or we're going to like AIify the message and we'll go search the web and structure all of the knowledge on the planet just for you. It's really hard work, right? And even as AI gets smarter, I don't really believe that this does not, if you improve this sentence, even if it's about things that are relevant to your business, it does not give you ultimate leverage in your business. It's some AI doing things that you have no idea. It's a problem. And then scale. There has been some innovation here too. It's Instantly and Smart Lead and all these tools that are warming up inboxes, etc. But we can't buy tools in the old way. So let's go and talk about the Blueprint way. So first, and this is all organized around a message. The message is the limiter. It's really important. And I have two types of messages, which we'll see in the course, is a PQS and a PVP. Let's talk about that before we get into this. A PQS is a pain qualified segment. And so what we're really doing is identifying data to figure out where is the tension in the organization. And a PVP is permissionless value prop. The value of a PVP is that you can send a message that people would pay to receive that is independently valuable. And this is why it all gets down to data. So I'm going to walk you through, this is an example of a PVP message, but let me walk you through the Blueprint way. So first, segment identification. So you need to be able to understand what is your best performing segment. So Texada is a company that does large construction equipment rental. And so they basically wanted to target companies with very expensive construction equipment that is idle. Right? Makes sense, right? And you can't, that's not 50 to 100 million. That's not, if you can't tell how much construction equipment you have and they can't tell it's idle, well, then why bother targeting them, right? These are the people that need Texada the most. So let's look at the data sources. Well, it turns out and by the way, the course is going to design to help you identify your best performing, basically to do all of this. So the second is like, you need data sources. Well, it turns out in Texada case, there's Department of Transit, DOT data. So the DOT data is like when you have a big ass thing and you have to move that big ass thing, you got to file a permit to move the big ass thing. You've seen those wide loads. They're not just strapped on the back of my t-shirt when I'm walking by. They're on these large machines that are moving, right? You see they take up multiple lanes. They have to have a truck in front and a back. That means that I know not only what equipment you have because it's registered in public, but I know when it's not on the move. So I know when it's idle. But get this. There's a company called Shovels.ai that has this massive, amazing permit database across the country. That means that I know when there's a large construction job, they also have to file a permit, that needs whatever thing that you have. So now I've got the segment and I've got the data. Now the PVP message here, a message they would pay to receive is I can say to the construction equipment owner, hey, John, I'm digging through the Texas DOT records. You have a Cat 5 excavator that usually rents for $12,000 a month, and it seems to be idle because I can't find any current permits for it. I don't know if you know this, but Bob's Construction right down the street at 123 Main Street just filed a permit for a 12-story high-rise that's going to need that for, we estimate, about 6 weeks. That means that you can make X dollars in 6 weeks. Here's their contact information. Here's their phone number. Here's the permit details. Feel free to call them. And if you want me to find more permits, just let me know. That's a message that they would pay to receive. It's related to Texada's value prop. It is independently useful. I do not have to pitch myself. I am delivering value at scale ahead of time. And AI lets us do that. AI lets us find the segments, identify the data sources, build the data pipelines for message creation. It's only going to get better than that. So what's next? Great. So you've got that great message. Well, the nice thing is that you don't have to rely on AI to do the heavy lifting. You basically can say to AI, reformat this for different channels. So it turns out in tools like Clay.com, you can take individuals and match them with hashed ad IDs, which means you can run ad audiences if you have enough of them. So basically imagine running an ad to all the people that have idle construction equipment with a permit nearby, right? Imagine that. You could then go create landing pages for them. So when they click on the ad, they can actually find the recent building permit for their equipment. So you can structure all that data for them and actually give them usefulness at scale. You can adapt this for cold call scripts, for cold email, for LinkedIn messages, right? This powers your whole go-to-market. And then how do you scale this? Well, you find another segment and maybe you move on to California and you get data from California. And so you can go through this process over and over again. So let's go ahead. Now that you have my understanding, let's give you an overview of the course. So we introduce you to the broken way, right? So which we talked about a little bit, and really my idea that the list is the message. This is a Jordan Crawford coined phrase. So we talk about how personalization is the problem, right? We talked about the SDR above, and that's a real challenge. The list is the message. So how to build these a precision list. Beyond standard data, right? We're going to talk about the DOT data. What are the 2 to 5 specific characteristics that indicate that pain or that tension? How do you find it? What are the data recipes? What are messages that matter? How do you compose these really great messages like we just talked about, right? And the PQS, which is basically what you're doing is you're reflecting their exact situation back onto them, or the PVP, where you're delivering immediate value before asking for anything more. We've got some message principles, and then we'll talk to you about how do you build this engine at scale. And actually, Agent 6 Toolkit is now not in the course. So it's a separate course. It's a $299 course. I broken them off because they're slightly separate. But I'll give you kind of the basics of that course, and then you can purchase that if you want to understand how AI agents fit into this. So that is the Who to Target and What to Say course. It is $9.99, and I don't provide any discounts. I provide so much free content, and so my goal is to educate you, and I put so much time into this. I'd be ever grateful if you decided to purchase it, and I think that if you talk to any of the almost 300 people that bought my last AI agent building course, they will all say to you that it was worth way more than they paid for it. And I've spent so much time thinking about this, building this in real life. And this is basically a perfect replica of my business. It's everything that I do. It's how I do it. It's all the prompts that I use. And so I hope that it will be very useful to you. And I am very grateful that you have invested these 12 minutes to understand my point of view, what I have built, and why I think it matters. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for your time. Bye.